Well, good afternoon, everybody. Today is Wednesday, the 2nd of December, 2020. I'm RoyceFThomason, and we're back for another Wednesday Hope and Healing Hour today. We come here each Wednesday. It's actually by design that we come on Wednesdays because there is something about Wednesday that is associated with healing, as well as with communication. And we are here to discuss matters related to healing and also to offer healing for those who are interested. So, thankfully, uh, in spite of all of the challenges that we experience throughout the process of life, throughout the process of life, the love and light of God are available to help bring transformative experiences and make them available for all of us. And so, the way that the human body is designed, the human body is designed to self regulate, it's designed to self heal. The nature of creation and our existence as a part of it is that when we arrived in the earth, when humanity arrived on the earth, everything that we would ever need was already placed within the earth. The body is designed to be able to experience sustained well being. But what happens is that in the course of our lifetimes, we subject ourselves to things that don't necessarily support that sense of well being. We have different life experiences that impact us on a mental and emotional, psychological level that end up having a very significant and frequently a sustained impact on our physical well being, on our physical health as well. And so we're here each Wednesday offering hope and healing, encouragement to help really keep our spirits uplifted and to also really get to the root cause of some of those things that shake us off of our center, because the mental and emotional things that we experience that end up being unresolved end up actually manifesting themselves in ways that take away from our natural original state, which is that of wellness and well-being. And so, even on the more fundamental levels of our physical existence, where you've heard perhaps of DNA referred to as the building blocks of life. And the DNA is capped with telomeres, which actually hold it together. And when that telomere begins to break down, what happens is that the DNA begins to unfold and unwind. It begins to come apart, essentially. And when that happens, um, degeneration of the physical body itself begins to happen, which is really the function of what happens with aging. It's a result of deterioration of our systems, and oftentimes we have deterioration of things that are manifesting physically. There's a lot that we take in terms of environmental toxins, in terms of things that we breathe in, things that we ingest. Um, but not only that, the things that we hear and see, the things that we experience that end up having a negative impact on us, end up manifesting in in our physical bodies if we don't get it resolved. And frequently, we have things that we experience that we tuck down away somewhere, um, and then those things haven't really been dealt with. They haven't gone away, and they end up coming out in another way. They end up manifesting uh, as attacking the body temple or disturbing our sense of internal equilibrium and well-being. And so we're here again to just offer some hope where that's concerned, to help stimulate that sense of well-being, to remove some of those blockages, because the body is designed is for energy to flow through it, whether that whatever form that might be in. And there are different times where we experience things and we get stuck. We get stuck in a certain area of our life. We have situations where the free flow of energy gets stuck somewhere in our body, and that blockage can end up creating other problems, can end up leading to inflammation, can end up leading to a lot of other things. By the way, speaking of inflammation, anything that ends with an itis, whether it's arthritis, sinusitis, anything that ends with an itis is a result of some inflammation. And so that needs to be balanced out uh, in one way or another. And so I just want to check in real quickly and see who it is that's with us today. If you'd please just wave or say hello or something, just let us know that you're here. We certainly do appreciate that. We're happy to acknowledge whoever comes through. And also, it really does help to make things more interesting than me just looking at this green dot on the computer, knowing that there's actually a human being on the other end or human beings on the other end. And so if you could just say a quick hello or a wave or something, that's always most appreciated. Uh, we come here every week. We're doing this, and it's really encouraging knowing that we're actually reaching actual human beings. Sometimes people have different physical conditions or even mental or emotional things going on, and we'll actually offer live healing for that right in the broadcast itself. So if you have anything that's concerning you, anything that you'd like prayer regarding, or anything like that, we're certainly more than happy to offer some support in that way. So I see that there have been a few people who've been coming in. I haven't seen any comments about who's been here so far. I always appreciate knowing that, knowing who's coming through. It definitely, like I said, it makes it more interesting. Feel like actually interacting with another human. But beyond that, uh, it's really important to me to be a healing space, or to offer a healing space where people can be genuinely authentic and receive support in a meaningful way that will hopefully make a valuable impact in your life. Melanie Ivy, hey there, how are you doing? Just the bright light that you are. So good to see you here, Melanie. Yes. Boy, I can't even say it's been a month of Sundays because it's been well longer than that. But I hope that you're well, that life is treating you well, that some good things are unfolding for you. From what I saw on your Facebook, it appears that you're doing some good things and have some things unfolding in a way that you seem to be pretty happy about. You certainly glowing on the videos that I saw. So I'm glad to be able to bear witness to that. Is there anything? Is there any pain that you're dealing with, or physical pain that you're dealing with, or anything uh, that you're working through, or could use some encouragement, hope, support, or actual healing regarding? Is we're dealing with all kinds of crazy stuff here in 2020. Aside from COVID and sense of isolation um, and things that have been going on from a socio-political standpoint, and things of that nature. Is there any way that we can support you in any of that today? And anyone else, please feel free to chime in as well. We're more than happy to again to offer some support where that's concerned. So anybody out there at all? And I know that it's on about a 20 to 30-second delay. So the time that I'm actually saying things, I know that actually you're not actually hearing it in real time as I'm saying it. And yes, Melanie, we'll have to catch up one of these days. You're learning to keep your peace and simplify your life. Okay. And I'm curious, what does that look like for you these days in terms of keeping your peace and simplifying your life? Or what are some of the things that show up for you in terms of from a challenging standpoint that makes it a little bit more difficult maybe to keep your peace in certain situations? Any of that you'd be open to or willing to share, Melanie? Or if you like, we can actually even bring you on live. Then we'll both be in real time as opposed to the 20-30 second delay that we've got with the StreamYard, which is the third party software that I'm actually broadcasting from. Okay, more meditation, more silent moments, more time in nature, more conscious breathing. Yes. Oh, goodness. A lot of times I come across people who, just in life circumstances, just going through the process of life, when things difficult come up, or a person begins to feel stress or feel panicked. I know that there have been a lot of times where I've actually reminded a person to breathe. I've said to them, just breathe for a moment. Uh, and that kind of has been a bit of a theme for 2020 in a lot of ways, hasn't it? Whether it is George Floyd commenting that he can't breathe, or whether it is coronavirus impacting people's respiratory system and being unable to breathe or going on a ventilator to be able to breathe. By the way, if anybody out there who happens to catch this broadcast either live or in a playback, if you or a loved one end up with COVID and they're suggesting to go on a ventilator, I would encourage you to refrain from going on the ventilator and refrain from encouraging your loved ones to refrain from going on the ventilator as well. From my experience, what I've seen, um, pretty much everybody that goes on the ventilator doesn't come off of it. If they do, they pass shortly after that, because the body is actually designed um, to self-heal. That's part of the genius in which God created us all. That we're designed to self-heal, even when a person is in a coma. Sometimes a person will even have a coma induced. Um, the medical professionals will induce a coma because they're aware that the body is designed to heal itself. And when it's in that restful state, can begin engaging in that healing process. When a person is on a ventilator, however, it totally strips the person of the ability to allow their body to fight. So they don't actually get to have that opportunity to let the body engage in its natural healing process. And like I said, everybody that I've known of who's gone on the ventilator um, didn't make it. And even talking to medical professionals who work in the hospitals, um, they have actually said the same thing. So, Melanie, I'm just reading your comment that you're not able to come on live, but it's been difficult to maintain it on a daily basis with the need to be flexible. Your goal is to remain stress free with less anxiety. I hear you on that. I definitely hear you on that. There's stress in itself isn't bad, but there are actually two different types of stress. There's eustress and there's distress. Okay, so without some form of a challenge, we don't actually grow. We don't actually get better. We're not able to maintain our strength, whether mentally, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, or physically. So a certain degree of stress is beneficial, but that would be eustress, the stress that's actually going to, like meeting a challenge, a healthy challenge. Distress, on the other hand, is what we're usually talking about when we talk about being stressed. When we talk about being stressed out, we're talking about distress. When we're talking about uh, when there's a difficulty with coping, we're talking about distress in that kind of situation. But eustress is actually um, the healthy challenges that arise that we face that actually cause us to grow and get better, kind of like exercise even. um, that creates a sense of eustress on the body. In fact, um, the way that the body gets in shape is you do things that the body has not been accustomed to doing, and then it adapts to be able to handle that particular stress, that you stress in that particular situation, in in a more effective manner. And so the respiratory system gets stronger, the circulatory system gets to work, the muscles begin to break down because of the stress that's actually been placed on the muscles. But then there's blood flow, increased blood flow that goes to those areas that causes them to build up and to get stronger. Okay. And I'm sorry, Melanie. I'm just kind of catching up on some of your comments. You're more conscious of when you're not breathing due to something unexpected. Yes, that's good. It's good to be aware when you're not breathing, so you can make that conscious decision to breathe. There's this concept in Hebrew. There's this word, I should say, in Hebrew called ruach. Ruach. And what that means, it actually kind of means three things at the same time. It means breath, it means wind, and it means spirit. It means breath, it means wind, and it means spirit. And so, even to be inspired or to experience inspiration is actually to breathe in the spirit, to let the spirit in. And actually, that is uh, truly the thing that keeps us alive in the first place. As long as we have breath in our bodies, we're living. Our physical bodies are living and alive. I don't actually particularly believe in the concept of death. Um, I believe that life just changes in form. Okay. I don't even believe that ultimately that the body really dies, because um, even when animals, quote unquote, die in the wild, they their body, those physical properties of those physical bodies begin to deteriorate, and then they actually nourish the soil, and from the soil grows other life in the form of plants, which the animals eat. And so that actually keeps the cycle of life flowing, it keeps the cycle of life going. But the way that I refer to somebody as still being alive, if you will, is I use the term, it's kind of maybe a goofy term, but I say if a person is still sucking wind, if a person is still breathing, uh, is what the language that I use in terms of how most people typically say if somebody's still alive or not, or if they're no longer quote unquote alive. Um, Okay, and so I see now, also, Melanie, that you commented that about the ventilator, that a good friend of yours just passed after being on a ventilator. I'm so sorry to hear that. My condolences go out to you and to the family of your friend who actually had that experience. Yeah, so it's actually a Hebrew word, ruach. Um, it's got that like kind of guttural sound at the end. Um, so it's really in Hebrew. So any spelling in English is really kind of a transliteration. And I don't even recall right now if it would be RUACH or RUAKH, or something of that nature, but it's got that kind of guttural sound at the end, which is, very prevalent uh, in the Hebrew language. But yes, it relates to the breath, the wind, and the spirit. Okay. And so each time we breathe in, we're taking in spirit, we're receiving spirit. Okay. The beauty of that is, in terms of that conscious reminder, really what I found as a person blessed with the ability to be a vessel of healing in so many people's lives is that the root cause of all sickness and disease, aside from anything that's taking place physical, because actually the brain rules what's going on in the body. The brain gives instructions to the body. In fact, um, with cancer, for instance, what cancer is rogue cells creating a force field around themselves that block off the signal from central command, okay, in the brain. And so then it, instead of going in alignment with supporting the greater good of the whole body, what it does is it decides it wants to take over and do its own thing, and it like recruits other cells to become rogue cells and go against what's supporting the greater good of the body. Okay. And so, and really, in a lot of ways, what happens within the microcosm of the human body is really, in a lot of ways, pointing to what happens within humanity as well. Okay. We're all part of a greater body. And some of us go in a different direction. We're not concerned about the greater good. We're not concerned about the greater good for all sometimes, some of us. Um, and we go our own way, try to do our own thing without concern for others. I heard this great definition of love and of lust. And love was described as, um, now that I'm thinking about it, I might botch it up. But love was described as seeking to benefit seeking to benefit others, uh, even at a cost to oneself. Lust, not just relating to sexual, but it certainly would be included in that area, seeking to benefit self, even at the expense of others. Okay. And yes, there are a lot of manifestations of people um, seeking to live in a way that only benefits themselves, even at the expense of others, without concern for how it impacts other people, unfortunately. Um, and so that is really a cancerous way of thinking, a cancerous way of relating to life. And so the way that the human body is designed, the way that we as human beings were designed, is that we're all drops of water in the ocean of God. Okay? Every single person is a drop of water in the ocean of God. All of the properties exist within each drop of water. No drop of water is the whole ocean, but each drop of water is a part of the ocean. The ocean is in each drop of water. And so the idea is that we're all here doing our own thing. We all have our own path that we walk in our own life's journey. But whatever it is that we're doing in life, it should support the greater good of all of humanity. Okay. And so, yes, there are situations where people get off track and they're not focused at all on what's going to support the greater good of humanity. They're only concerned with what's going to support them individually. And in a similar way, even within the human body, there are ways in which we take in certain mindsets, thought systems, ingest certain, breathe in certain things into our body that are not really in alignment with what's going to support the greater good. And then these rogue cells start doing their own thing. They're not concerned with supporting the greater good of your actual physical body temple. And then you see disease, sickness start to set in different areas of your life. Hey, Dulcie, aloha to you too. I hope that all is well um, in Hawaii. And greetings to you, Angela. Always good to see you too. Hope that everything is going well in Atlanta. And Faith, hey there, Faith. I hope that you're doing well in Houston. That all is going well your way. And by the way, Melanie, I forget where are you right now? Where on the planet are you? Um, but yes, we definitely are all called to support the greater good of humanity, and every cell in our body is called to support the greater good of our physical bodies. We don't always stay on track in terms of supporting the greater good of humanity, and not all of our cells always stay on track in terms of supporting the greater good of our physical body either. I'm glad that that all is well. By the way, Dulcie. Um, okay, Melanie, you're in Atlanta as well. Okay, and Melanie and Angela. Um, I don't know if you two know one another, but you know, both are daughters of Mother Tuskegee. In the event that you did not know that about one another. Okay. And Faith, you said you tuned in with a friend that you're enjoying. Oh, okay. Glad that you're enjoying the message. Yes, this is actually being broadcast live right now on YouTube. The YouTube channel is called Matrix Healing. So we're being broadcast right now on my personal Facebook page. We're being broadcast from the Transcending the Matrix group, and we're being broadcast live on YouTube live in from the Matrix Healing channel. So you can find us all of those places. And if you know anybody that you feel like could benefit from this, please by all means feel free to share it with them. We're really wanting to offer some hope and some encouragement, share some tidbits of information that people might be able to find useful. And beyond that, and perhaps most importantly, is to actually offer healing for people who may be struggling or having a difficult time, physically or otherwise. Um, so definitely glad to be able to have the joy and the honor and the privilege of being able to serve in that way. Mm. That's one of the great joys of my life, actually, is to be able to serve in that way, to be able to um, help people actually experience medical miracles, and to share with people how they can help people to experience medical miracles. Going to be doing some training coming up pretty soon, uh, where people will be able to access the healing power of God on behalf of themselves or on the behalf of others as well. So, oh, I'm glad that you were able to have such pain dislodged in last week's. Was it last week or was it the week before? I don't remember now. But in Okay, you said last session. Yeah, I'm not sure if it was last week or if it was the week before when you were on, Faith. But I'm glad that it made a favorable impact in your life, um, and glad to have you back now. Um, Faith and I, crossed paths in Houston. So when I was in Houston, I moved there without a job or a place to stay. Went there on a leap of faith, following a woman. um, Ultimately, it didn't work out, but um, I ended up getting what I call a 3D job, and Faith and I actually were on the same team. Um, and Faith, I hope that your faith may continue to flow like a living river. Um, and what does Dulcie say? Yes, thank you for sharing that, Dulcie. The Transcending the Matrix is powerful training, well worth the time and investment. Yes. Okay. Um, okay. So Melanie, the name of the YouTube channel is Matrix Healing, and that's one word. Um, Matrix Healing. If you if you do a search for my full name, you should be able to find. You should be able to find it there. You should be able to find at least one video um, that would be broadcast from the Matrix Healing channel. If you want to subscribe to the channel. Um, in fact, I'm glad that you asked that because it reminded me that I need to go in and actually um, make some adjustments to the things that have actually been posted from our Wednesday broadcast, so I could, put some tags on it to make it easier for people to find it who can get the benefit. One thing that's really interesting, and you're welcome, Melanie. One thing that's really interesting about these broadcasts that we do is a person can receive healing during the broadcast. But if somebody is dealing with a particular challenge or issue, it's kind of a mystery. Time manifests in our minds, but in terms of things as a spiritual nature, time isn't bound to the same restrictions according to which we kind of conceptualize it. And so neither is the healing. So a person can actually tune in to the broadcast on YouTube next month or something. And if we were doing a healing on a particular thing now, they could actually receive the benefit of it then, um, which I think is kind of cool. Um, but that's part of, to me, that's just part of the beauty of the mysteries of God and creation, and how God works. Things in the realm of spirit are not subject to some of the limitations that manifest in the physical realm, even though the physical realm can and is impacted by the spiritual realm. Yes, this work definitely um, uh, transcends time. Oh, Dulcie, you said that you received healing watching the replays. Thank you for sharing. I didn't know that, Dulcie. I don't think that you had ever shared that with me. And if you did, um, as my late grandfather would say, I disremember. I don't recall that, but thank you for sharing that. That's good to know. And I do want to check in and see, is there anybody right now who's dealing with any type of physical condition, any physical pain, and if not any physical pain, have something that may be kind of weighing on your heart, or um, that just might be presenting itself as a difficulty in your life in one way or another that you just like some support on. We're certainly happy to be able to offer that. And again, it's a big part of why we're here. Uh, I really believe that service is the rent that we pay for living on this earth, and that we are called to be able to be of support to one another. There's this movie out. Um, it's called The Secret Dare to Dream. And there is this line in the movie where this one particular person asks this other particular person, why are you helping me? And the person who's extending the help, his answer is simple: because I can. And I'm here offering support and healing as a vessel of healing. I believe that God is ultimately the healer. But I also believe that pretty much everything God does through a vessel, whether that vessel is a raindrop, a snowflake, um, a lyric in a song, or any other method, an angel, or whatever the case might be, that God uses vessels to do that work. And I'm thankful for the honor of being able to be a vessel of healing. And because I can offer that support, I'm more than happy to do that. Um, so if anybody is dealing with anything and you'd like some support regarding that, please let us know. Drop it in the chat. More than happy to offer that. Hey, Jackie from Montana, how are you? And welcome. Now you're from Montana. Do you happen to know Dulcie? Or Dulcie, did you invite Jackie? I know you've got Montana connections, even though you're in Kauai. Um, so are you two connected by some in some way, shape, form, or fashion? I'm just kind of curious about that. And again, like I said, does anybody have any type of physical issue that you would like to have addressed? Oh, Jackie is your good friend. Okay, awesome. Okay, and somebody is I can't. They must be on the Transcending the Matrix page. I have no idea who that is saying, "Hey, boo." um, it usually shows up uh, as Facebook user when somebody is watching from the actual uh, Transcend the Matrix Facebook group. Um, so I'm not sure who that is. I can't see who that is. So Melanie said you're believing and thanking God for your healing. You received a diagnosis in January of this year, and you believe it will be healed in your body. Um, I want to stand in agreement with you on that, Melanie. Is it anything that you feel comfortable sharing about? Certainly, Danny, I had a feeling it might have been you, just because of your use of the word "boo." Didn't you come up with T-shirts that said "Do you boo" or something like that, if I remember correctly? But Ivy, with regard to your situation, is there anything that you feel comfortable sharing? Something that we can actually provide you with some support on right now? We're more than happy. We're more than happy to offer you some support right here on the spot, if you like. Oh, Jackie, your sound left. Okay, and you're having spinal issues. Jackie, is hopefully your sound is back. The spinal issues that you're having, is it manifesting as like physical back pain? How are those spinal issues manifesting themselves? Um, and I don't know. I wonder how long that's been going on for you, as well as with you, Melanie. How long have you been? Um, okay, all right. And Melanie, which is it both the left or the right breast? By the way, if you'd be open to sharing. Again, I know it's a delay. I really wish there was a way to, well, there is one way to bypass that. That's if a person comes on live, but people don't always feel like coming on live and aren't always able to come on live. The left? Okay. So um, I'm happy to offer some support where that's concerned right now. Uh, Melanie, and even in some of the things that we'll share, you'll hear come out of my mouth, you might be able to identify with. But we're definitely going to give you some support right now. God, I know you to be a healer. I know you to be a healer. And through the union we share, through the power of pure love and your Holy Spirit, the God in me demonstrates you as a healer on the behalf of your daughter and my sister, Melanie Ivy, neutralizing the root cause of all illusions, perceptions, experiences of cancerous cells in her left breast and anywhere else in her body. From the point of the entire energetic structure of every strand of DNA and every cell of her body, neutralizing that and transmuting that into a sense of well being, of wholeness, of bliss, of divine grace and well being. And I bear witness to her wholeness on this date and in this time and space called now. And I thank you for this gift of your divine love. In the name and the nature of Jesus the Christ, it is done. It is done. It is done. Okay, and so Melanie, so the nature of the breast, when you think about the breast, the nature of the breast is to do two things: to nurture and to nourish. To nurture and to nourish. Anytime there's an issue with the left side of the body, anything on the left side of the left side of the body is the feminine side of the body. When we look at the feminine side of the feminine side of the body deals actually again with nurturing. It is the emotional side of the body, it's the spiritual side of the body, it's the receiving side of the body. Okay, so all of these things um, can point to actually what's going on of that um, in terms of that left breast. And so it looks like for you, it's a time where you're being called to do some self nurturing. Okay, we want to support you in that area in terms of being able um, to take some of that nurturing that you're typically wanting to pour out and to pour into other people, uh, that it's a time for you to begin to pour into yourself, to nurture yourself, to allow yourself to receive that nurturing. Okay, just kind of offering you some strength and some support in that area right now. Now I'm sharing this with you. The healing isn't about the me sharing these words. There's other stuff that's going on besides words coming out of my mouth. So I want to share that with you. Okay. And I actually want to really look. Um, okay, you say your whole year is moved into focusing on on you only this year. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's. Uh, I'm glad that you're making that shift. I want to look into from an emotional standpoint in terms of sense of worthiness. All right. And really want to neutralize any type of socialization, um, from upbringing, from the church, from hearing things spoken, things just out there in the collective consciousness dealing with any sense of unworthiness. We want to neutralize that, transmute that, purify that through the power of God's divine love. For you to know absolutely, both intellectually and experientially, that you are 100% completely worthy of all the good that God has for you. Not necessarily because you're so good, but it's because of the nature of God, and the essence of God exists within you. And that is what makes you worthy of whatever good thing can make its way to you. Okay. And those channels of receiving that good that have been blocked, that have been clogged, that have been stagnated, we want to free that up. We want to loosen that up, um, so you can receive all uh, that is meant for you, and that you can do so with a sense of grace and with a sense of ease, and can still maintain a sense of humility in the context of that. Um, so I don't feel like that's going to be an issue for you actually, in terms of maintaining a sense of humility. Okay. But any sense of false pride, though, we want to kind of wash that out. Not saying that you're like this completely prideful person or anything like that, but anything that um, that's really seeking to in any way hinder your ability to receive an outpouring of goodness or well-being. Okay, uh, sown into you, poured into you, from people who want to love on you, from God wanting to love on you. Okay. And I'm going to look at actually at your ancestral lineage, particularly the lineage of women in your family. We want to actually help to resolve this within your family lineage. Okay. We're going to go back 18 generations of women in your family. We want to resolve that. Okay. So it's resolved within you and within their experience. Okay. And you say that you've done an overhaul emotionally, mentally, and physically. All right, that's very good. You've done a lot of forgiving. Know that you're worthy of all this that's coming to you. That's good. And the unlearning has been life changing. Yes. Yes. So often we have different experiences in life. A lot of times people mean well. Um, a lot of times people mean well and actually give us an improper education about things. They say things with good intentions, but they end up having actually a negative impact. And it could be as a result of their limited thinking. Usually it is a result of their limited thinking or their fear based thinking. And sometimes, honestly, people say things with ill intent. So we want to actually help support you in the unlearning of all of that. Okay. Of any false teaching, limited thinking, um, thought patterns, and belief systems holding you back from being the fullness of who you're created to be. Okay. And to yet be able to still maintain the benefit of the lessons that have been learned throughout the process of your life's journey. Okay. All right. For all generations of time, in fact, past, present, and future. All right. And in your particular case, I want to look at things that have actually been um, in your field of perception of things that you've observed, where um, where there's been some toxicity that's been going um, on a global scale, national scale, culturally, um, you know, even on a family level with friends, colleagues, and so forth. Kind of balance that out, neutralize you from that. Okay, all right. And whenever you get a chance, Melanie, I'd like to just kind of touch in with you and see how are you feeling about the things that these things that are coming up. How are you feeling physically in your body? How are you feeling about your body's progression? If you could share that, if you feel open to it, and we'll keep working here. All right. And by the way, with respect to this, want to look at um, your cerebral cortex, the right hemisphere of your brain, okay, which is the creative side of your brain. Interestingly, the right side of the brain rules the left side of the body or controls the left side of the body where you're having this problem. But it's also the uh, your creative brain is the right side of your brain, if you will. Okay. And so um, we want to actually provide you with some support and strength um, to create less of what's undesirable and more of what is desirable and alignment with your highest and best good. Okay. Now, with respect to that, we also want to look at your RAS, the reticular activating system, which is a part of your brain that takes in sensory impressions from things that you see, things that you hear, and so forth, and actually ends up manifesting in your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind actually ends up picturing itself outwardly in manifestations of life experiences. Okay. All right. So I'm glad that feeling better than you felt in years. That's good to know. Feel more alive than ever due to changes you've made in lifestyle and holistic treatments that you're undergoing. Fantastic. I'm really glad to hear that, Ivy. That's really wonderful to know. Like I said, you're glowing. Just radiating light. Now, quite frankly, I've always known you to be a person who is radiating light and goodness. You know, even back on the campus of Tuskegee. Ooh, I want to look at something. There was something that's just brought to my awareness. I hear you singing in the choir, uh, way down yonder by myself and couldn't hear nobody praying. Okay, and I want to kind of address that from the standpoint of subconsciously and unintentionally um, speaking through song or singing. This is going to sound weird, but a certain level of um, subconscious expectation of um, aloneness, or not aloneness so much as lack of support. Okay, so we want to neutralize that. We want to neutralize that, transmute that, purify, replace it with feeling 100% wholly and completely supported. Supported by God, supported by family, supported by friends, supported by the processes of life itself. Okay. Of your left breast feeling supported by all of the other cells in your body and by your subconscious mind. You want to actually boost that up in terms of feeling supported by your subconscious mind. Okay, that looks a little better now. Okay. Now I'm sorry that I'm going to have to go shortly because I'm going to have to go teach a class. um, but I can tell you that there have been some things that were showing up weak before that are showing up strong now, and I'm glad to be able to bear witness to that, um, Melanie. Okay. All right. Now let me look at now at actually what would, and if something comes to mind, please feel free to share it. I want to look at what would now currently in your life serve as some kind of hindrance to you feeling supported. Okay. Actually, you seem to be pretty strong in terms of receptivity to being and feeling supported. Okay, all right. Look at your support system. Yeah, there looks like you're actually kind of strong to that, having that as your life experience. Um, if not before, certainly drawing it in. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're looking pretty strong. Looking pretty strong in that area. Okay. We want to look at too for a moment trauma and neutralize past trauma. You're more open to support now. Okay. That this hadn't been the case prior to the diagnosis. I hear you. Okay. Yeah, well, you look pretty strong where the openness to support is concerned right now. Yeah, that's actually encouraging to see. And whatever that thing was that I was starting to say a moment ago, I don't consciously recall what it was. If somebody remembers it, please jot it in the chat. But whatever it is, we're going to send some support in that area for whatever that thing was that I don't consciously recall right now. Okay. It was trauma. Okay. Thank you. All right. And want to look at any physical trauma like force impact trauma, any emotional trauma, surgical trauma. Okay. Any psychological imprints. Want to neutralize those psychological imprints. Finding about 100,000 of those. We want to neutralize all of those, so they're no longer having any type of negative impact. Okay. We want to reprogram that to um, just more of feeling uh, strengthened, alive, supported, nurtured, being taken care of, being well taken care of. Okay. And feeling whole. Okay. And feeling empowered in your femininity, completely empowered in your femininity. Alrighty. With respect to that, we want to deal with any programs, anything dealing with chauvinism, so that that's neutralized in terms of your family, in terms of your upbringing. Okay. In terms of uh, just the collective consciousness of humanity. Okay. All right. Okay. That's looking better now. All righty. Okay. And we'll just do a couple more adjustments, and then I'll be needing to get going. Like I said, I've got to. I won't say unfortunately I've got to teach a class. It's a blessing to be able to do that, but I'm going to have to run in a moment to teach a class. Um, okay. Glad that you feel this has been both amazing. It's been amazing and interesting, digging deeper into the points that have been mentioned today. I'm glad to hear that you feel that way. Um, let's just look at a couple other things real quickly. I want to actually deal with anybody that you have. Want to deal with fear of cancer and totally neutralize that. Okay, and want to transmute that into awareness that you've been given power over all the power of the enemy. Okay. Uh, the greatest enemy, unfortunately, that we experience in our lives is the enemy within one's own consciousness and awareness. Those tapes that we hear playing, those voices that we hear speaking to us in the sound of our own voice, the doom is inevitable. Okay. We want to completely neutralize that, transmute that into, okay, I'm hearing, I know the plans that I have for you. Plans not to harm you, but to prosper you with the hope in the future. Okay. I'm also hearing, want you to prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So we're going to need to um, get ready to get moving into the next thing I've got to tend to today. But I want to thank you, God, so much for Melanie, Ivy, and Dulcie, and Angela, um, and Jackie, and Danny, and anyone and everyone else who has shown up on this live today. Anyone else who actually benefits from seeing a playback of this video in faith, and anyone else who sees a playback of this video or who's participated here. Thank you for the healing that's taken place on today. Thank you that you are a healer. Thank you that in the midst of all of what seems to be chaos and changing vicissitudes of life, that there is a divine order and divine harmony that is at work, that it's all taken care of, that we're all covered. Thank you for this reminder. Thank you for the way that the flow of goodness is moving and is making itself manifest on behalf of Melanie Ivy and the behalf of all of us. Thank you for it all on this date and in this time and space called now. Affirming it is done, it is done, it is done. Okay. All right, everybody. So, well, glory to be to God for that. I'm just a lucky dude that happens to be able to get the opportunity and the privilege to be able to show up. And for every good thing that's happened, it's not about me. The power, I'm not the power. Now, the power is in me. I'm not going to deny that one moment. Um, but the truth of the matter is that God really is the healer. And that healing has been um, available in all of us. It's just a matter of us being able to access it. I'm happy to share um, the knowledge and the gifts of how to actually access that healing power. Dulcie made a comment. She's been through training, has been able to help a lot of people with it. Thank you for sharing that, by the way, Dulcie. We're happy to share. We're looking to actually later on this month. Um, I think the 18th through the 20th, have a weekend of healing. You're actually learning to do medical miracles, serve as a vessel of medical miracles by day 2 in a 3-day training. You'll be able to experience yourself participating in medical miracles happening on behalf of someone else in a different part of the world, um, as a result of you accessing that. Guaranteed. I don't guarantee a lot, but I'll guarantee that. If that's something that you're interested in, just send me a direct message either on Facebook or on Instagram at Royce Fletcher Thomas in either place, and we'll make arrangements to to get you situated to be able to participate in that training. Um, so you all are all welcome. You're welcome, Melanie, Dulcie, Jackie. There's another Facebook user that's saying greetings to me. I'm not sure who that is. It's somebody who must be on the Transcending the Matrix group again. I don't know if that's still Danny or if that's somebody else. Um, and Dulcie says, yes, it really does happen in the training. Um, and it's funny because sometimes people will go through the training. I always say this, by the second day, you'll be doing what I do. Um, People experiencing them, blah, 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 blah. People experience themselves doing it, and it's hard for them to believe that that's the case. And so they'll experience themselves doing it over and over and over again, and then tend to believe, okay, this wasn't, pardon me, this wasn't just a fluke. So at any rate, I've got to get running, but I sending out love to you all. I wish you all bountiful, bright blessings as your day and your week continues to unfold. It's been an interesting year. It's been a challenging year. Doesn't mean it's been a bad year. It's been a year where we've had a lot of interesting twists and turns of things that some of the things we might have been able to anticipate. Some of the things were like curveballs that we never could have seen coming. J Love, hey J Love. Um, There've been a lot of different challenges that we've all been faced with this year. But what that has offered is the opportunity for us to remember what it is to return home to our souls, to the truth of who we really are, to shield ourselves from negativity. It's given us the opportunity to be able to come together as one people, working towards some common goals. It's given us an opportunity to see areas where we're divided and to have the opportunity to choose anew. It's given us a lot of opportunities to do things differently, to do a lot of self examining, to do a lot of things to get us back on track in areas where we've gotten away from things that were perhaps more important, where we had been distracted. Anyway, I've really got to get running, but I love you. Mwah. I'm sending that love out to you. I acknowledge the presence of God within you, and I'll look forward to catching up with you soon. All right, you all take care now.